second part of the video on how to take your logo drawings and begin to make them vector. So we're going to go in Illustrator now, and we're going to say Control O for Control Open, and we're going to come into the logo folder, Control Z, Control W, Control O, I double clicked, and we're going to go down and find logo 8. And it's going to ask us about a Photoshop import, and yeah, we do want to import it. So here it is. Using our black arrow tool, we're going to select it, go Control Copy. Have you been vectoring them first and saving them as vector as little individuals, or just putting them on the big logo sheet?
Logo sheet.
Yeah, cool. That's how I do it. So I'm going to go Control Copy, Control W, and then we're going to come into the logo sheet and go Control V. So here it is, dropped in here with the other drawings that have been dropped in. And what we probably need to do today, like Shana's going to have to work on playing a little bit with fill and stroke and arrangement. She'll have options to do all sorts of things. The leaves may begin to move off from the tree, but clearly in Illustrator she's going to have to do a lot of work on her F and her R. So probably ideally we would have rubbed them out, and but we'll leave them in here for now. So this is pixels in here, and if you have too many pixels in Illustrator, it will slow Illustrator down and Illustrator will crash. So what we're going to do is when we grab it with our black arrow tool, our sub-menu changes and it comes up with all the things that we might want. And we are going to go into Image Trace, and we'll just click on Image Trace, and it's traced it, and now we're going to expand it, and that's it. It's now vector. Just a little thing on the side, I hate yellow paths. I don't know how many other people hate yellow paths, but I can't see them. So for this layer here, I'm going to double click on it. Double click on the layer, and I'm just a little layer options box opens, and I'm just going to turn this into dark green, and I can see it. So two things that we're going to do now is we're going to separate the white out from the green, from the black. So I'm going to use the white arrow tool, and I'm going to tap in the white area. If I look over here on my appearance, it says that there's a white fill, but it hasn't grabbed all of it. So I now need to go into my select menu, down to same, and down to fill and stroke, and I'm going to pick that up and move it off, and now I'm going to go Control X to separate it from this so they're no longer grouped. Control Paste, Control G. Do you keep your whites or do you delete them?
Delete them.
You delete them. I'm going to just, for this one, I'm just going to say that we might keep your white here, and I'm going to make a new layer, and I just moved up that little box, and I'm going to call this layer whites, because they can be really useful sometimes, and so we'll work on that. And I'm going to just turn that layer off. So now we have this layer here, and if I select and drag and grab, everything should come up black in your appearance. And then what you can do is begin to do things like delete little bits that shouldn't be there, or oh, it's beautiful, Shana. You don't need to do too much to that really, but you can begin to work on giving bits fill. If we grab the black arrow tool and go into isolation mode, if we click on this and then double click on it, it will go into isolation mode, and then in theory we should be able to grab certain aspects of it, like we should be able to grab just the inside part. And I just keep double clicking on the inside line, and you should be able to give, oh, that didn't work. No. So that hasn't worked. So I'm just going to go Control Z because it's given everything a grey stroke fill, and we would have to, in this scenario, get quite complicated, which we're not going to do right now because this video is just about how to turn this into a vector from Illustrator. So the end.